Welcome to class, beautiful people. It's your TTA Pro, Mr. O, back with another episode. So النهارده we're going to continue, or we're going to solve February EST 2022. This is an official EST test. Okay, this is an official EST test. Now, الامتحان ده, I mean, it's not too hard, بس شبه الامتحان اللي احنا حليناهم او انتوا بتحلوها on the actual exam. So we're going to begin with passage number 1. Passage number 1 كان بيحكي لي عن مستر بينجلي، وازاي مستر بينجلي جاب واحد اسمه مستر مش فاكر ايه، مستر هيرست عشان يشوف بنات يجوزهم، حاجه زي كده، من لندن. مستر هيرست صاحبه مستر دارسي جه معاه برضه. مستر دارسي كان راجل هانسم وجميل ولطيف وكل حاجه، however كان اسلوبه مش كويسه ومحدش كان مبسوط بيه. وعلى اخر الباسج مسز بينجلي كانت مخنوقه من مستر دارسي عشان اسلوبه ما كانش كويس. The primary purpose of the passage is to, let's begin with question number 1. The primary purpose of the passage: introduce the Bennett family and the relationship to Mr. Bingley. مشكلة في إجابة A. Number 1, usually the purpose of the passage قبل ما أبدأ أي حاجة افتكروا معايا in fiction. Memorize this. In fiction, the purpose والmain idea بيجي في آخر 30 line numbers. Okay. So دلوقتي مشكلة في إجابة A. أنتوا سايبين Mr. Darcy وكان جزء كبير في الباسج عن الباسج في الباسج كان عن Mr. Darcy, right? ومعاملة Mr. Darcy وأسلوبه. So you can't say answer A عشان have answer. Outline the girl's desperation for marriage. Answer B, that's not the purpose برضو عشان although the girls عايزين يجوزوا, it doesn't mean they're desperate for marriage, وده ما كانش الفوكس بتاع الباسج. Answer C, distinguishing between Mr. Bingley's and Mr. Darcy's personalities. Answer C of the الإجابة. آخر 30-40 line numbers can be قارن ما بين Mr. Bingley and Mr. Darcy's Mr. Darcy's personalities, right? Sorry, Mr. Bingley نقطة في البداية كان الفاذر، لا الفاذر كان واحد تاني Mr. Bennett. Sorry, كان Mr. Bennett. So answer C is the best answer. If you guys have any questions ولا عندكم أي اختلافات, please let me know. Question number 2. Which of the following best describes why the girls grieved over Mr. Bingley bringing 12 ladies, right? So عشان عايزين يجوزوه. Line 34 right here, the girls grieved over such a number of ladies, but were comforted the day after, before the ball, by hearing that instead of 12, he brought only 6 with him from London, his 5 sisters and cousins. So في البداية كانوا زعلانين, they grieved over, كانوا منحرين, بس بعد كده they found out بدل 12 بنات يبقى 6 جاي مع 6, ويا إما هم أخواته يا إما his cousin or something like that. So answer A, the Bennett girls perceived the other women as a threat to the possibility of courting Mr. Bingley. Of course, answer A. Answer B, the Bennett girls were unaccustomed to hosting other women. عشان كده the Bennett girls grieved over? Well, no, they're not unaccustomed to hosting other women. احنا اساسا ما نعرفش. اللي احنا نفهمه كانوا زعلانين جاي مع 12 نساء. لا، طلع النساء دولت مش 12 هم 6 ومعظمهم اخواته بنات. So they're not, answer B is unsupported. Answer C, the Bennett girls exhibited hostile behaviors to strangers. ما كانش في عنف or hostility ما بينهم. Answer D, the Bennett girls mourned the presence of the women. Again, you know, mourned is like death برضو. صح, بس السؤال بيسألنا ليه? Why did they grieve over? Right? Why did they grieve over? برضو إجابة دي ما بيجاوبش السؤال اللي احنا بنسأله. Let's go to question number 3, مرتبطة بالmain idea. The author indicates in lines 50 until 51, نرجع ل 50-51, Mr. Hurst merely looked the gentleman. Right? Mr. Hurst merely looked the gentleman, but his friend Mr. Darcy soon drew the attention. Okay, so the word merely, right? The word merely, again, 50-51, that Mr. Hurst merely looked the gentleman. merely معناها just. merely يعني على الوش, على الظاهر. So when you're using the word merely, هنتكلم superficially or artificially في الظاهر. So emphasize Mr. Hurst's physical presence. Physical presence? Well, no, right? Draw attention to his attire. Again, we're not doing that. It's هي مرتبطة. بالmain idea of the text واخلاقهم واسلوبهم ما كانتش كويسه. insinuate that he lacks behavior that can be classified as gentlemanlike. انا عارف دلوقتي. Go ahead Mrs. Rowan.
question 3 لو كان سأل على مستر دارسي كنت وقتها بقى يعني agreeing with you إنها C. بس
I
أصلا
interpreted it as Mr. Darcy اساسا. But go ahead.
it's someone different بس احنا we didn't see any actions from Mr. Hurst to judge based on them that he didn't have a gentleman-like behavior. Maybe she just يعني whoever wrote this maybe they're just saying and they don't know but he really looked like a gentleman they don't know actually يعني بس maybe to emphasize the fact in his character was not clear or shining just looked like a gentleman.
What would be
Do
the
you get
best
the point?
answer? I get your point. I get your
Well,
point definitely.
yeah, the closest thing that I found was A.
His physical presence برضو his emphasizing his physical presence. Where is it emphasizing his physical presence? عشان emphasizing his physical presence يعني he'll describe the size مثلا of Mr. Hurst, describe مثلا حاجة اللي علاقة بالphysicality بتاعته, but this is not described at all.
How much physical can also be looks.
Physical, yeah. So
Well, I'm saying that he looked like a gentleman.
no,
But
the
this,
looks بقى you're describing شكله عامل ازاي.
well, but still, I do get your point, but there's nothing
I
to
feel like
support
انا
C.
معاكي I definitely agree with you من ناحية كده, وانا برضو كنت بحل بعمل كده. ساعات في EST there are slip ups, right? There are slip ups عشان that's why you have to be a bit flexible with information. Although you're correct وانا برضو شفتها كده, بس لما اجي حلتها قلت well the only thing that can work here is answer C because of the context of Mr. Darcy. بس ثانية واحدة, I'll talk some more. بس ملك عندها سؤال, اتفضلي يا ملك.
مش هو قال ميرلي يعني جاست جنتلمان، هو بس كان بيظهر بس ان هو جنتلمان، اما هو مش جنتلمان حقيقي. هو ما قالش اي حاجه خالص عن السلوك بتاعته، فهو شافوه لابس لبس كويس فقال ان هو جنتلمان، بس هما
Okay.
ما شافوش اي حاجه
Okay.
منه. فليه مش اتاير؟
Draw attention to his attire because ايه هو الاتاير هو لبسه. If you're drawing attention to attire ده كده انا بوصف الاتاير نفسها.
اوكي.
Right? So I know these are issues. I know these are issues that you're going to find when you're solving EST tests, right? Okay. So the only thing that can work again. Okay, so tell me, Mrs. Rowan, you tell me you agree with.
I'm sorry, my screen froze, so I
No, it's
couldn't
okay.
unmute.
It's okay.
I agree with her علشان he said that he looked like a gentleman that probably meant he was dressed well maybe he's trying here to highlight how well dressed he was actually B also could work because also the statement is very vague. It could be understood from many different perspectives.
Okay, let me try and get you. I got the explanation somewhere. What number was this? Okay, hold on. I can't find my notes now. I remember I wrote this somewhere. Hold on. Okay, this is number Kim. Number 3. See, the only thing, like I said, the only thing that can say the answer is C is كلمة merely. Merely معناها, that's the only way you can say answer C. Merely معناها على الوش. That means تحتيه or below, he is not gentlemanlike. ومفيش أي حاجة تانية بيتكلم عن Mr. Hurst. I understand that. But the phrase نفسها, he merely looked the gentleman, that means هو كان شكله gentleman بس من جوه he's not. If I say, for example, Rowan is merely a memorizer, that means أنا بقول although Rowan looks smart, she just memorizes information. So كلمة merely كده negate أو cancel out فكرة هو gentleman. لو مثلا Mr. Hurst looked a gentleman, okay, but merely look, that means شكله كان gentleman, ممكن نفهمها he's not a gentleman. That's the best way to explain this. Because you can't say B or A. ده مستحيل. ليه؟ Again, answer A, emphasize Mr. Hurst's physical presence. مفيش emphasis هنا على شيء موجود يوصف لنا. It should be described. وانسر B, draw attention to his attire. لو بيعملوا كده برضو لازم يوصفوا الاتاير نفسها بس ما عملوش كده. So this answer is only أو يعتمد بس على فهم كلمة merely looked. كان شكله بس gentleman. Now تقولوا لي well باقي الباسج ما كلمناش عن أخلاق وأسلوب Mr. Hurst. هقول لكم صح. However, at the same time هقول لكم الphrasing نفسها can be interpreted this way. So that's the best way I can explain it to you guys. Question number 15, credit. A lot of people got this one wrong. لو فهمتوا الcontext بتاعت الpassage, whose paper is this? This is Muhammad's paper. لو فهمتوا الpassage can بيقول here, Miss Bennett planned the courses that were to do credit to her housekeeping. Okay? That means هي بتعمل الأكل وبرضه الأكل ده هي تعمله will credit her housekeeping. يعني الناس هيشوفوا هي بتعرف تطبخ وتعرف تنظف البيت. So making the food will support her housekeeping. So here هنقول it would praise, it would highlight, it would make bigger or make better موضوع housekeeping. So الناس يشوفوا البيت نظيف وبرضه يشوفوا الأكل موجودة. Question number 5 and 6. This one was, I think, the easiest question, which describes Mr. Darcy pompous and displeasing. معظم الباسج كان بيتكلم عن كده، معظم الباسج كان بيتكلم عن أسلوب Mr. Darcy، والevidence جاية من 64 until 71. أنا قلت لكم ممكن يبقى في أكتر من evidence يجاوب السؤال. عايزين the most complete evidence. So لو قال لي من 57 to 60 زي محمد, the gentleman pronounced him to be a fine figure of man. ده مستحيل يبقى pompous. Pompous يعني متكبر، بيتنك، فاكر نفسه أحسن من الباقي. 63 until 64. Where's 63? Till, right? Till his manners gave a disgust which turned the tide of his popularity. Okay. But look at 64 to 71. It's more complete. بيوصف لي أكتر ازاي هو displeasing، ازاي هو pompous. So the better answer كانت إجابة دي. وقلت لكم قبل ما تحلوا يا ريت نقرا كل الانفورميشن الأول قبل ما نعمل قرار. Question number 7, line 52. Drew. Mr. Hurst merely looked the gentleman, but his friend Mr. Darcy drew the attention. You draw the attention. That means you what? Attract. You attract attention. صح? Not pull. You don't pull attention. You attract it. Question number 8. All of the following are mentioned about Mr. Darcy except, خدوا بالكم لازم يبقى مكتوبة clearly and directly. Answer D. He is fond of his friendship with Mr. Bingley. هما جم مع بعض بس احنا ما نعرفش how he feels about his relationship مع Mr. Bingley. صح؟ معليش he's fond of the friendship. معليش أي حاجة شبه كده. He earns money, he is handsome, he rejects one of the Bennett women. كل ده موجودة في التكست. However D مش مكتوبة. ممكن infer it بس السؤال بيسألنا which is mentioned. يعني لازم تبقى مكتوبة. Question number 9. Which of the following best describes the Bennett family's feelings toward Mr. Darcy at the end of the evening? This was pretty easy. They feel repulsed and reject his presence. بيكرهوه. Muhammad Ali, they exhibit feelings of detachment and are unconcerned. But Mrs. Bingley, على آخر الpassage بتكرهه. Her dislike of his general behavior was sharpened into particular resentment, into hate, into bitterness, into dislike. والevidence جاية هنا برضو. From 90 till 95. Again, هنلاقي 87 until 90. He was the proudest, most disagreeable man in the world, and everybody hoped that he would never come there again. موجودة. But 90 till 95 is a more complete set of evidence. Very specific and descriptive. This was passage number 1 of the test. If you're watching the video, go to the next one. You can learn anything. Mr. Sema out.